Hello folks and welcome back to the Cobx Indian Esports Championship. My name is Vivek and we've got Team Buriza this time on the dia facing off versus Reincarnated in a best of 3. This is the losers bracket and either team could get eliminated at this phase. Buriza, they are a strong team. They did have a decent performance versus JMD, I'd like to say, yesterday. But it looks like JMD with the Bloodseeker pick and so much more just stomped all over Team Buriza in game 2. First phase bans here coming out. The Abaddon getting banned out by Team Buriza. They didn't have too much fun versus JMD's Abaddon earlier on yesterday. They banned out the Juggernaut on the side of Reincarnated early on. So they do not want to be going up versus any Magnus strats, if nothing else. Reincarnated does have first pick, and the question here for Team Buriza is, do they let the Monkey King slip through? I'm going to take out the axe. So a lot of offlaner focus bans coming out from both teams, taking out the Axe, the Abaddon, the Legion Commander. Not sure if Axe is first phase ban worthy, but Team Buriza did have a rough game yesterday versus JMD's Axe. And Zeus on the Axe was just spot on, held the Juggernaut in place, got the lockdown necessary. And Team Buriza do not want to have a rerun of yesterday's series versus JMD. First pick for Reincarnated. Could open with something like the Monkey King. It is in the pool, and if they do play Earth Spirit, now would not be a bad time to pick it up. Ogre also not too shabby a pick, but I mean, when you got first phase picks and you really want to end up picking something that's really strong. I mean, Ogre can be picked up later on in the game, maybe as a second or third pick, but Reincarnated, they're going to pick up the Earthshaker. Roaming Earthshaker, I presume, but this hasn't worked out for a while internationally, and we did see Artista play a fair bit of Earthshaker. But can Reincarnated have success in the early game with a couple of fishers though? Team Buriza, they've revealed one of their cores early on. It is the Templar Assassin. And Clown K or K will be probably going to the mid lane with the Templar Assassin. They pick up the Treant Protector. One of the more in-meta supports. Did get a lot of play in the Kiev Major. Yeah, I've seen more and more Treant Protectors max out Nature's Guise over Living Armor early on, just to get the reduced fade time, which they then use to contest the enemy offlaner in his jungle. If he does go back to the jungle, the stun is also great setup for a kill in lane. And Reincarnated are going to pick up the Ogre Magi. So they've got the standard one roaming. Actually, they are both supports that do roam a lot. I mean, you want the Earthshaker to be roaming around. There's not much he can do to harass the enemy offlaner. Ogre could, but then Templar Assassin has a better time in the mid lane. So these first two picks coming out from Reincarnated, a little bit lacking in terms of synergy there. It is solid team fight though. I mean, with the Fisher, with the Echo Slam, and even the Bloodlust coming out from the Ogre, they've got some team fight, they've got some push. But the question is, which cores are going to benefit from this? They've banned out the Juggernaut. And Team Buriza, they take away the Ember Spirit. Flame Guard, definitely one of the better ways to deal with refraction early on in the game. Reincarnated, if they're not going to pick up the Monkey King, they're not going to let Team Buriza do it either. Banning out the Monkey King. Next set of bans for Team Buriza. Well, Reincarnated, they revealed both of the supports unless this is an offlane Earthshaker, which I haven't seen in ages. But Team Buriza, they're just taking out cores that don't like playing against here. The question is, what do Reincarnated pick up in the mid lane to deal with the TA? Mid Venomancer has been getting a lot of action in the international circuit. He does get picked up a fair amount, but haven't seen Indian teams pick up the Venomancer for ages. So Team Buriza, they pick up the Lifestealer, and there are a fair amount of offlaners that can carry the Lifestealer into battle. Slada still in the pool, and there is some synergy there if they end up picking up the Slada with the Templar Assassin. So odd approach to the draft coming up from Team Buriza. They are picking up their cores early on. Maybe Reincarnated could pick up something like the Ursa to deal with the Lifestealer. But that makes it a rather melee heavy lineup coming out from Reincarnated. But they're going to go with the Bat Riders, so they've got some flying vision to work with. Could ideally try and pick up the Lifestealer early on. Also, he is one of the better offlaners who does a fairly decent job at contesting the safe lane. I would really like Team Buriza to pick up something like an Oracle now. Good babysitting support. Fortune's End takes away all the sticky napalm stacks, can dispel the sticky napalm on your safe laner, and offers a fair amount of burst damage early on in the laning phase. False Promise also helps you deal versus the lasso. Would really like a Bat Rider pick coming out from Team Buriza. They've got the roaming support in the form of the Treant Protector. A defensive one wouldn't be too shabby at all. Oracle hasn't gotten a lot of play in the 7.00 patch, but well, there is no better time than now for Team Buriza to pick him up. But they're going to go with the Slada. I'm assuming this is an offlane Slada, just so that he gets his blink at the earliest possible timing and he can carry the Lifestealer into battle. Not seeing this as a position for Slada just yet.
10 seconds remaining.
Good synergy there with the Temporal Assassin. Crush, Corrosive Haze, the slow from the Crush, as well as the minus armor coming out from the Corrosive Haze, really augmenting the TH damage in team fights. Reincarnated, what are they looking for? They're looking for something in the mid lane, and they're also looking for a core that can deal with the Lifestealer. Ursa comes to mind. But they're going to go with the Dragon Knight. That's interesting. A mid matchup of Dragon Knight versus the Templar Assassin, I presume. And Reincarnated have got some strong push. And if the Ogre's hanging around the mid lane, constantly spamming Ignite on the Templar Assassin, that refraction isn't going to keep her survivable for that much longer in the laning phase. Of course, Treant Protector can chip in with the living armor. So it should be a stalemate in the mid lane, ideally. Slark being the last man coming up from Team Buriza. And Reincarnated take out the Warlock. I think Reincarnated could do with something like a Weaver themselves in the safe lane, just to kite around the Lifestealer and bring him down bit by bit. If I'm not mistaken, Swarm over time does take away refraction.
5 seconds remaining. 10 seconds remaining.
But they're going to go with the Terrorblade.
Dire team
It's a good push coming out from Reincarnated. I foresee them grouping up and sieging early on. And do not think that the Temple Assassin and the Lifestealer will be able to deal with this Terrorblade. Team Buriza, last pick for them. Elder Titan was one of the greater counters to the Terrorblade early on, but now if you drop the Spirit on top of Terrorblade and his illusions, it only takes away magic resistance. So pretty much the Terrorblade needs to be in the middle of, the Elder Titan needs to be up close and personal with the Terrorblade to take away his base armor. But Phoenix is the last pick for Team Buriza. Even more team fight. Reincarnated, they've got ways to deal with the egg. Terrorblade could siege the egg and bring it down nice and easy with his illusions and the metamorphosis. But Team Buriza, they've got a decent team fight, and a lot of it is going to boil down to the Batrider on the side of Reincarnated and how effective he is in shutting down the Lifesteal early on. Would have still liked an Oracle getting picked up by Team Buriza just to deal with the Batrider, but they're going to go with the Phoenix, which is fine, I guess. New battle pass, new load screen. Not sure what this is. No idea at all. I saw it earlier on today in one of my games. No clue what it does. Anyways, we are underway and we will always begin with the pause for no reason at all. Folks, for those of you just tuning in, this is the Cobx Indian Esports Championship. My name is Vivek. We've got Reincarnated facing off versus Team Buriza in a best of 3. Either team stands a chance of getting eliminated here from the Cobx Indian Esports Championship. This is the losers bracket though. So mid matchup, TA versus a Dragon Knight. I think Dragon Knight should be fine. With help coming in from the Ogre, he should be able to bully the TA out of the lane. The question is the Treant Protector going to skill Nature's Guise early on or Living Armor? Because if they're running a conventional tri lane, the Treant Protector isn't going to be hitting that level 2 early on. And if Ogre spots this out, he could just move into the mid lane, throw out an Ignite or 2 on the Temple Assassin, and easily apply pressure early on. So yeah, Treant has gone for the Nature's Guise, and he's using it to drop an aggressive ward. So there's a little bit of added UI here. We see net worth advantage just below the clock. Nice little cosmetic coming out from Val there. Treant. What effectiveness is he going to have early on with the Nature's Guise though? Could make life difficult for the safe lane, but Terrorblade, he's got a lot of armor to work with, should be fine early on. 11 armor actually. Batrider in the off lane versus a Lifestealer and a Phoenix. Should be fine. Lifesteal, as he started out with a magic wand, a magic stick, excuse me. No. So that sticky napalm is going to keep him from last hitting effectively. Okay, we are underway, we are done with all the pauses. But definitely Reincarnated does have a... I mean, they have put themselves in this pressure where they need to push early on to get objectives. I mean, when you got a Dragon Knight and a Terrorblade, you want to be pushing. These heroes, I want to say they kind of fall off as the game goes later and later. And it looks like we have some action breaking out. Lifestealer breaks the smoke. The Fisher is there on point. The Dragon Knight breathes some fire. Immediate Sunray coming out from the Phoenix. And it looks like it will be a bounty rune secured for the Radiant. Meanwhile, Team Protector, he's hanging around Terrorblade's bounty rune. And it looks like Heldrak has spotted him out. Venom, still looking for that bounty rune. Bashes the Terrorblade, but not in time. It looks like Heldrak does end up getting the bounty rune. Does take a couple of hits though, but I think he'll be fine here. Meanwhile, Fearless snagged a bounty rune of his own. So there was a successful steal coming out from the Radiant. Still, the die is sitting at a 125 gold net worth advantage. Maybe spent less on vision, not sure what that was about. But yeah, the Ogre, he's got the right idea here. Applies pressure straight away onto Clown K. There is a Radiant Sentry as well early on. So Clown K has less vision to work with. In fact, none actually. And with the Treant not having taken living armor early on, this should be a tough lane for the Templar Assassin. The Treant, he's hanging around the mid lane looking for the courier snipe. But this courier, he's not moving anytime soon. Another ignite on Clown K. He's got the salve. Can pop it if he wants to. Turns around. Disrupts the clarity coming out from the Ogre. Fisher block onto the Slada. Not sure if they have enough to bring him down. Both offlaners should be fine since we've got pretty much a dual lane coming out from both sides in the mid lane. Now the Ogre is lacking in terms of mana, but Courier, Venom doesn't get the snipe. He's still a little underleveled in comparison to the Ogre. And that's one of the important things though. I mean, as the Treant, you want to get those levels. You want to have living armor at the go. Ideally as maxed out as possible. He's I mean, this is what Treants do nowadays. They're walking wards that steal bounty runes, and that's about it. Firefly coming out from Fearless. Quick look at CS. TA still holding her own in the mid lane. Just one last hit behind the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight definitely has more denies to his name. Well, this is a dual lane coming out from the Radiant, but I think Clown K is pretty confident of holding his own here. He's probably asked the Treant to let go of the mid lane, and he's getting the CS he wants. This Ogre has no more mana to work with, and he's pretty much useless in the mid lane. Probably should make a quick base or shrine trip and get round 2 of the Harass out on the Templar Assassin. Slada getting his levels in this offlane, has picked up the boots, and both offlaners here, the Slada as well as the Batrider, they do not have the traditional 2 support zoning them out, so they should be doing rather comfortably. Rather static laning phase. It looks like the Radiant will be waiting for a couple of levels on the Dragon Knight before they probably group up and start to push. Because that's what their lineup does best. Group up and push. And the Dire, I guess they'll be waiting for Slara to complete his Blink Dagger and then maybe set up a couple of kills with a good old Infest Bomb. Venom, now level 2, has gone for the lead scene. Fearless needs to be careful. Not sure if he has vision though. Can't tell. Oh yeah, he does. Slara being chased. A Fisher was used, but it's not going to hold him in place just yet. The great thing is that when you're playing against two melee heroes in the safe lane, you can very easily just drop the crush and disengage. There's nothing that they can do to hold you in place. Meanwhile, it looks like they scored first blood on the Batrider. Mid only, I mean, he's only been sitting in the mid lane and he hasn't accomplished too much just yet. Okay, keeping up in terms of last hits pretty much. I mean, he's only 4 CS behind the Dragon Knight, and that's with the Ogre hanging around the mid lane. Elsewhere, Venom trying to snag the bounty rune. Drops the living armor on himself. Thinks about the lead seat. Cancels it. Nature's guys. The fate time being reset time and time again. And that's an easy kill for Fearless there. Venom grossly out of position. Mid only. He's picked up the bottle now. Will be able to pick up the arcane rune. Looks like Venom is rotating into the offlane, but the Radiant Observer should scout that movement out. Mid only, still sitting only in the mid lane. Corrosive Haze, they start out with the mini stun coming out from Venom. Lead seed is there, but Heldrak turns around with the Metamorphosis and actually ends up doing more damage to the Treant Protector, who's forced to pop the living armor, which really doesn't offer much protection this early on versus a Terrorblade. Top lane, Sunray brings down the Batrider. Second death on the Batrider, not the start you'd be hoping for. Open wounds along with the Sunray and even the Fire Spirits are more than enough to burst down the Batrider. He's completed the Tranquil Boots. He's picked up the Infused Raindrops. And yeah, maybe he just ditches the lane, moves into the jungle. Mid lane though. Both mid laners going pretty even. If anything, the Dragon Knight has more denies to his name. He's not yet level 6. It will be interesting to see what he builds into though. Most likely it's going to be a Shadow Blade coming out from the Dragon Knight. Standard build. But I'm still trying to snag a couple of bounty runes. And mid only, he's given up on the mid lane. He's grouping up with Heldrak and Detergent in the safe lane. They possibly could kill off the Slara if they want to. Quick look at net worth. It's the Lifestealer sitting at top. And Dragon Knight coming in second. Just a little bit ahead of the Templar Assassin. Venom needs to be careful though. If they did have detection, this Treant could have been another easy pick-off for the Radiant. So it is an Earthshaker who's pretty much attempting to babysit the Terrorblade. Not sure if this is the best use of the Earthshaker, but here he comes with that Fisher. Blocks off the Slara, who turns around with the 3-man crush pops the Guardian Sprint and gets the hell out of there. I think what's going to make a world of difference though is that the Batrider has ended up falling twice, while the Slada hasn't fallen even once. Dragon Knight goes into the Elder Dragon form. Too early for him to probably take down a tower, but does help push the creep wave. Bot lane, Metamorphosis coming out from Heldrak. We could see an early push, and this might force the Dire to come in and defend. Unimax is there with the Fire Spirits and the Sunray, immediately cancelled by the Fisher. Heldrak moving in for the kill, but there's the Crush coming out from the Slaughter, holds them in place. He swoops in and swoops out as well. Mid only, out of position, and will only be sent back to his own fountain. Detergent dropping low, he's got the Corrosive Haze on him. Could there be one more Crush? It's actually not needed. Venom scores the kill, and beautiful stuff coming out from the Dire. They are looking for one more. The Crush is there on the Terrorblade, followed up by the Sunray. No mana for the Sunder, and another easy kill for the Dire. And what started out as the Radiant initiating a push, looks like the Dire might just end up taking down the safe lane tower. Good stuff coming out from K. You do not expect a TA to rotate so early on, and could the Dragon Knight punish her by forcing some aggression on the Dire mid one? Well, it looks like the Radiant safe lane tower is down, and Dragon Knight couldn't exactly return the favor. Slada, Blink Dagger. Well, he's getting closer and closer to it. There is the side trap coming out, followed by the Sunray. It's one bird killing another. What? Turns around, doesn't use the stun. K with a couple of auto attacks. One meld hit actually in the middle of all that. Tries to bring down the Dragon Knight, but will not be able to. The Fisher putting K on the wrong side of the river. Fearless giving chase. He's not got mana for the lasso, but the Firefly should be enough. An egg has been popped though. And is it going to save K? Looks like it won't. It's Fearless who scores the kill. The mid laner on the side of Team Buriza does end up going down, and the egg was committed.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Dragon Knight holding on to the goal. Really hopes he doesn't go for something like a Midas here. I mean, might give him some late game security, but I guess the plan is to group up and push. They tried that once already, and it ended in the Terrorblade falling and them losing a safe lane tower. Of course, the Midas not too bad an item on the Dragon Knight. Helps you get levels, and Dragon Knight definitely one of those heroes who does end up benefiting from it. But right now he hasn't offered anything to his team. No push, no team fight, no soaking up damage. Dire mid tier 1 really low, and Helm GA does try and keep it alive for a bit. He's got enough gold for his Blink Dagger in a short while. Could be looking for some pickoffs early on with the lifesteal infested in him. Batrider, his Blink on the cards. It's actually complete here. They could look for a pickoff, but I'm not sure if the Batrider with the Earthshaker might be enough. Maybe with the Echo Slab, but if they do not end up killing him, it's completely wasted effort though. Lifestealer TPs to the shrine. They've got the blink on the Slada. Are they going to pop a smoke? Well, it looks like they won't. He's just going to infest into Slada. They're on the hunt. Venom giving out some information. The Infest Bomb is there. It's an easy pick off on the Batrider. Mid only. Turns around with the stun on the Slardar, but with the Corrosive Haze and the Sunray, it should be an easy kill for the Dire. Good stuff coming out from them. And 2 quick pickoffs from the Dire. You'd normally expect the Radiant, you'd also expect the Radiant to probably look for a pickoff since Batrider got his Blink Dagger. But who's he going to... he needs some assistance for sure. And an Earthshaker isn't enough. The Dragon Knight, well, he's busy farming and he's trying to take down the mid tower. So, well, the Batrider couldn't really do too much. And wow, good stuff coming out here from Team Buriza. They get the kill, they're giving up the mid tower, and then moving in for an early Roshan. This could really secure the mid game for them. Terrorblade is trying to apply pressure across the map, rightly so, with the Metamorphosis. Venom tries to TP. TP was cancelled, however. Have they got detection? Looks like they have a sentry. Venom trying to run into the trees, but he's not going to get out of there. The Sunray keeping him alive for a bit. The sentry ward just out of range of the Treant Protector. We see an egg that gets dropped by the Phoenix. K has the Aegis. Helm G8 jumps in with the crush, but there's a huge Echo Slam and Venom ends up falling, but here comes 420. Cleans up the Earthshaker as well as the Batrider, and he's looking for more. Dragon Knight, well, he's got a Shadow Blade, but that's not going to really keep him alive versus all this physical damage coming out from the Dire. The open wounds is there, 1 melted, and a couple of auto attacks should be more than enough. Mid only comes into the battle to throw an Ignite, and now he's going to run with the side trap. He's being slowed down, and it's an easy kill for Unimax there. Things going horribly wrong for the Radiant. And what should have been a lineup that pushed early on ends up dying early on.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And as you can see, it's a 5k net worth lead in the favor of the Dire. 16 minutes in. That is reasonably... I say reasonably, but that's a great start. DK has picked up the Shadow Blade, and it looks like he's trying to make something happen across the map. They've got the Slardar held in place. It's 1 kill divided by 4. Here comes the Lifestealer from the backlines. Find the Earthshaker, brings him down. TPs are coming in. It's a Terrorblade, but what can they do to cancel the Lifestealer's TP? Nothing much really. While elsewhere, Unimax ends up falling, but I think the Dire will be happy with that. It's only a support, Phoenix, and they ended up getting the Earthshaker. So it was a 1-for-2 trade though. Well, the Radiant, it looks like they're grouping up and doing what their lineup is best suited to do. They're grouping up for a push. Well, they've got the Metamorphosis. It should be an easy tower. But the Dire do have the Aegis to fight with, and maybe they could just go once again. Lifestealer infested in the Slardar. They popped a smoke. They're looking for more. Has Treant got Overgrowth? Well, it's on cooldown. Top tower under siege. I'd really like it if the Radiant just cleanly disengage, but Terrorblade's hanging around. Sure, he's got the Dragon Lance and the Yasha, but is it enough? Slardar jumps in with the crush and the infest out. Heldrak, can he sunder anyone? Looks like he can't. MGA scores the kill. K out of position. He's not got the Aegis. He's got the Aegis to work with, and now mid only on the run. Throws the Bloodlush on the Earthshaker. Ends up falling to the Lifestealer. The Enchanter to him, holding off Venom. K, can he score the kill here? 1 melted, ends up falling to the Echo Slam. 3 heroes have fallen from the Radiant, but K is going to respawn again, and he's just going to bring down the tower as soon as possible. Good stuff coming out from the Dire. They lose the Slardar. They end up picking up 4 kills. And the Radiant lineup really lacking in terms of team fight. They're great at pushing with the Dragon Knight and the Terrorblade, but with all the minus armor coming up from the TA as well as the Slardar, they can quite easily take down these scores and more. They've taken down the towers well. All tier 1 towers down on the side of the Radiant. And with the living armor on the Templar Assassin, they could go for round 2 here. No Aegis though. And no blink just yet on the Templar Assassin. 420 been doing some really good work in those fights with the Armlet and the Echo Saber. Looks like he's building into the Chrysalis. A possible Bloodthorn? Not too sure. Okay, here's the Batrider with the lasso, pulls back the Lifestealer. They are trying to bring him down. The multicast is there from the Ogre, but the Sunray doing some real work with the heal. In fact, the Lifestealer turns around, brings down the Dragon Knight, while K manages to bring down the Ogre. The Radiant initiating a fight which they just end up losing. And K is on the hunt for more, drops the side trap. One melded on the Earthshaker, so much damage. Will force out a shrine if nothing else. The Sunray is there doing its work on the Earthshaker, but he's going to be alive, and it looks like, well, it looks like they're going to disengage for the time being. The die just steamrolling all across the Radiant, and it is a draft issue though. Terrorblade and Dragon Knight, the great at pushing, but it looks like the die just wants to make them team fight, and without a blink on the Earthshaker, the team fight isn't that strong really. Dragon Knight has started to fall behind in terms of items. He's queued up the Assault, ambitious quick buyer, but do not see it coming online anytime soon. The die, they've got the momentum. They probably just group up and push once more on the back of the Slada. What can the Radiant really do to come back into this game? I mean, I would like to see them get some vision and look for isolated pickoffs. And what really needs to happen if they want to win this game on, I mean, you can lasso the Slada, but Lifestealer pops out and kills you instead. I think a lasso on the TA would be the best option here. But the Radiant have no vision at all, and I don't see how they're going to end up winning team fights. I've got this one Observer drop down, does provide a little bit of vision. But Kane, not a care in the world. He's got the Blink and the Desolator, sieging the tower early on. He's got evasion as well in terms of talents. Dragon Knight moving in with the Shadow Blade. Elsewhere, I did hear an Infesh Bomb. They brought down the Slada. They're looking for more. The Sunder was there, but it's not going to keep the Terrorblade alive much longer. Here comes the Overgrowth. It holds the Dragon Knight in place, who's just going to tuck his tail and try to TP out of there. Once again, the Radiant lacking horribly in terms of team fight. The die just steamrolling all over them. 21 minutes in, it's 11,000 net worth lead coming out from the die. They know that the strongest squad, they're just grouping up and taking objectives. I guess if the die group up once more as the Radiant, you just do not take the fight. Yeah, I mean, if the die group up once more, you just do not fight against them. You wait for them to split up and try and find a solo pickoff. That's what you should be hoping for. Because right now, their team fight is horribly inferior. I mean, maybe once Earthshaker picks up a Blink, it could be better. But it's the Batrider who gets caught out of position with the Slada and the Lifestealer. And this Slada and his initiation has been a whole lot better. This is when you look for a fight. Unimax showing himself all alone in the mid lane. That should be the pickoff you're looking for. I mean, mid only, he's got the right idea. Immediate devote coming out from Unimax. This is the pickoff the Radiant should be looking for. Not Detergent all by himself in the bot lane. Gets brought down. And a Dragon Knight as well. It's 2 quick kills for 4-2-0 there on the Lifestealer. Well, I thought it was Bloodthorn, but he's just going for the Deadless altogether. Batrider is thinking about catching the Phoenix if possible. This kill could be something huge for the Radiant. I mean, going into a fight without the Phoenix on the enemy side could just be what they needed. But instead it looks like Venom and Unimax are looking for a pickoff of their own. Okay, starting the siege here. All leaders on the side of the Radiant have respawned. Earthshaker still no Blink Dagger. He's getting closer and closer to it. I really like what the Radiant are doing here. They're waiting for Earthshaker to pick up the Blink. And maybe, just maybe after that, they can win a team fight on the back of one huge Echo Slam.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Good stuff coming out from the Tablet. Split pushing across the map, forcing the Dire to probably rethink their decision of walking down mid. And this gives enough space for the Earthshaker to farm up his Blink Dagger. Maybe then the Radiant just group up, pop a smoke, and it's go time. But one lost fight here for the Radiant could spell doom. Lose one fight, you possibly lose Rax here. Roshan respawning shortly. Okay, here comes the smoke coming out from the Dire. If they end up losing this fight and they don't get the pickoff that they're looking for, it could be a way back into the game for the Radiant. What? Out of position, breaks the smoke, pops the Shadow Blade. They've got him though, they've got the dust on the Phoenix. Can they disrupt that TP? It looks like they won't need to with the pure damage coming out from the Sunray and K with all that physical DPS. They just bring down the Dragon Knight. And he has got buyback, however. Infest bomb on the way. I mean, it'd be a whole lot more smarter and disciplined if the Dire just moved into the Rosh pit, took down Roshan, and then attempted to look for a pickoff. The Radiant, the shit scared, they're just sitting in their base. Detergent has the Blink Dagger. It is the right call coming out from the Radiant. I mean, when you lost all control across the map, you probably want to wait for the Dire to come high ground. Easy Roshan for the Dire. But with the comeback goal mechanic in place in 7.00, one kill on the Lifestealer or the TA could just bring the Radiant back into this game. And with this Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker, it is possible. Slada jumps in. The Fisher blocks him off. Lifestealer infests out of there. The Sunray healing him up, and with the living armor on the Lifestealer, they should be able to siege. But here comes the Batrider with the lasso, pulls back the Lifestealer. The egg is there from Unimax. Terrorblade focusing down the egg. Venom jumps in with the overgrowth. The egg will pop, and nobody ends up falling just yet. But here's the Echo Slap. It is huge. Venom ends up falling. Helltrack will fall as well. K doing his work with the BKB brings down the Ogre Magi. And immediate buybacks coming out from the Radiant. They have lost the Dream Protector, they have lost the Slada, and K is out of position as well. Lifestealer ends up falling. The 742 gold split by 3 members of the Radiant. That Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker, just turning the tide of the fight. Mid only, waiting for the TA, is there with the Fire Blast and the Ignite. Phoenix doesn't have a heck, needs to be careful. He cannot dive out of there for a good 6 seconds. And the Radiant, it looks like they've done enough to hold high ground. K is standing there with the meld. Turns around, jumps back in. Dragon Knight hasn't got mana for the Shadow Blade, will end up falling. Mid only throws out the stun. It is a multicast, excuse me. The Fisher is there as well. K on the run. No BKB just yet. Detergent jumps in with the Enchant Totem, takes a meld hit, gets slowed down by the side traps. K jumps in with the Blink Dagger. Mid only still alive, still surviving, but not for long. K is there and gets the kill that she was looking for all along. Terrorblade, all he can do is watch his teammates fall, and that was in ages expended on the side of the Dire, and they still didn't end up getting down to tier 3. at him. He's got the blink dagger as well as the gem. Really questionable decision coming out from the Slada in that earlier siege. Jumps in and doesn't end up catching anyone. Gets caught out of position there. And the Fisher by the Earthshaker followed up with a beautiful Echo Slam. Made sure that the Radiant held on to their base. And this really puts a dent in your confidence. I mean, if you attempt to go high ground with an Aegis, with the BKB and you end up failing, it does make you reconsider the whole game altogether. Phoenix jumps in, Dragon Knight out of position, they've got detection, they bring him down. He's got buyback though, but it might not be enough. The Radiant really shooting themselves in the foot there with the Dragon Knight pick off going in favor of the Dire. Defensive Fisher holding off the creep wave. Smoke gets popped by the Radiant. Cage just jumps across the Fisher and sieges on the tower. Lasso on the Kazuya for the Batrider, blinks ahead but ends up taking a crush. The Sun Ray is there. This might be a death on the Batrider, but the Fisher disengages the Dire. And Heldrak, he's all by himself. He's trying to do his best. A Davian even now completed on Unimax. And Heldrak might just have to go back to base. K could go for round 2. He's got no BKB to work with. The Lasso still there, but MGA jumps in with the crush. Brings down the Echo Slab and thus taking away the big team fight on the side of the Radiant. With the egg, this should be an easy kill on the Dragon Knight. And that is a dieback, my friends, on the Dragon Knight. Heldrak pops the Metamorphosis, tries to man up, but K, look at him go. All the damage just brings down the tablet. The Lasso is there, but where's the damage? Instead, it's the Batrider who ends up falling. And the Dire in complete control of this game. K even picking up the Ogre Magi to make sure it's an absolute team vibe. And Team Buriza just steamrolling over Reincarnated Esports here. They're going for the tier 4s, not bringing down the racks in the mid lane. The Radiant, however, they are respawning shortly though. And the GG is called. Team Buriza will take game 1 in a convincing manner. Earthshaker jumps in for one last Echo Slam. But it makes no difference at all. And yeah, Reincarnated Esports, I mean, they drafted a push heavy lineup. They maybe need to reconsider their options going into game number 2. They do need a little bit stronger team fight. I mean, just an Earthshaker who picks up a blink in 25 minutes, I don't think that's going to cut it. Batrider again, he got his blink dagger, but clearly it was Slada who was the more effective offlaner in this game. Team Reincarnated though, they're just one game away from getting eliminated from the Cobx Indian Esports Championship. Anyway folks, my name is Vivek. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back shortly with game number 2. Hello folks and welcome back to the Cobx Indian Esports Championship. This is the losers bracket and it is a best of 3 between Team Buriza and Reincarnated. Team Buriza took game 1 in a convincing fashion. They realized that Reincarnated were a push heavy lineup and they didn't give them the chance to push with the Terrorblade and the Dragon Knight. Good stuff coming out from Clown K in the mid lane. His Templar Assassin was completely dominating Reincarnated, while props to Helm GA, yeah, that's his name, Helm GA on the Slada. Got that blink, had a lot more success with it compared to the enemy offlaner on the Batrider. Anyway folks, my name is Vivek and once again you're watching the Cobx Indian Esports Championship. First set of bans coming out from Reincarnated. They're taking away the Invoker in the first phase itself.
10 seconds remaining.
And it looks like both teams have done a fair amount of research here. K or Clown K, as you might know him from X Road Esports. He is a mechanically strong mid laner and I have seen him pick up the Invoker from time to time. But yeah, his go-to heroes are also the Templar Assassin as well as the Medusa. So Team Buriza, they've had reasonable success with the Treant Protector. Game 1, I want to say he was pretty decent. Did get a lot of dominance early on in the early game, and hopefully he can do that again. Folks on chat saying Sunray is no longer pure damage. I apologize, it was my fuffle, as they say. Won't be saying that again. Reincarnated there, opening with the Abaddon. Second pick, well, they banned out the Monkey King themselves, not wanting to give it up to Buriza in the first phase. They could go with the Ogre. Solid Roma early on. Couldn't do enough to shut down Clown K in the mid lane, but they're going with the Warlock. So they've got some more team fight. They've got a solid babysitter in the form of the Warlock. And what are they going to follow this up with? Team Buriza, they're going for the Templar Assassin. The question is, how are Reincarnated going to respond? I really like what Team Buriza are doing here. They're banning out the Ember Spirit. They do not want the TA having a hard time in the mid lane. And this gives Reincarnated the impression that Team Buriza, they're going to just pretty much repeat that draft from game 1 and Reincarnated, they take away the Lifestealer just in case. I mean, it wasn't the Lifestealer being the reason they lost. It was more so because they drafted a push heavy lineup and they failed to push. It was actually Team Buriza who grouped up and pushed earlier on, and all of that was on the back of Slada and that early blink dagger that came out from him. Next set of bans for Team Buriza. They're not too bothered by the Ogre in the mid lane. I mean the Ogre that came to harass the Templar Assassin in the mid lane. What do you end up removing then? Maybe an Earth Spirit ban wouldn't be too bad, but they're going to take away the Disruptor.
Fire team back.
And Reincarnated, paying respect to Team Buriza here, taking out the Slada, and Helm GA, who is incidentally the drafter as well, had a really good time in the offlane with the Slada. I think they've switched things up from the earlier game yesterday versus JMD. If I'm not mistaken, it was Unimax who went to the offlane and Helm GA played the 4th position, but I could be wrong here.
5 seconds remaining.
Tinker getting banned out by Reincarnated. Laser making sure that the Templar Assassin doesn't get those last hits. And this should be a mid lane that's secured for Team Buriza. Reincarnated have to pick a strong roaming support here that can make life difficult in the mid lane for the Templar Assassin.
5 seconds remaining.
Maybe they just go with Ogre once again.
Reserve time.
Bounty Hunter or Rikimaru wouldn't be too bad, but we haven't seen Indian teams pick up too much Rikimaru or Bounty Hunter. I mean, you have a Treant Protector on the other side who's giving his team a lot of intel with the vision he grants. Maybe have something similar on your lineup as well. But they're going to go with the Viper. The good old counter everything in the mid lane hero. So this is their way of dealing with the Templar Assassin. I like this. I mean, in theory it should work. Viper is known to counter pretty much any hero in the mid lane.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Next pick for Team Buriza. They are looking for another support. Maybe even something in the off lane. Or they maybe just pick up their courier. Juggernaut is available to them.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, they're going to go with the Juggernaut. Small pat on my own back coming up from me there. So they got a good push coming out with the Juggernaut and his healing ward. Solid all-round core. Reincarnated. Could pick up the other courier.
5
A
seconds.
slug wouldn't be too bad. What else?
Reserve time.
You could just pick up your other support. Maybe pick up the Ogre again, and along with the Viper, you should have a better time in the mid lane this time around. Reincarnated. I really like the Ogre pickup. This time with Ignite and a Viper rather than a Dragon Knight, they should be able to zone out the Templar Assassin a lot more effectively. And maybe follow that up with an maybe follow that up with a core who does something with fatal bonds. Not sure what that core could be. Ogre with
Anti-mage.
wow, they're gonna pick up the anti-mage instead.
Team pick.
Can't say I agree with this. So Team Buriza, they can
10 seconds.
draft a
remaining.
strong tri-lane here and contest the anti-mage early on.
5 seconds.
Send an aggressive try with the Juggernaut and the Treant Protector, but they're going to go back for the Phoenix, so they've got their team fight.
Team back.
But I'd really like an aggressive try lane coming out from Team Buriza. Keep the anti-mage poor early on, and even if mid lane doesn't go well for the Templar Assassin, you are applying a lot of pressure on the anti-mage. Last ban for Reincarnated could take away something like the Troll Warlord,
5 seconds.
but they're going to take out the Nyx.
Radiant team back.
I'm sorry, excuse me, that was a small bit of oversight on my part. Team Buriza, they've already picked up the Koya. So Reincarnated banning out an offlaner that they do not want to play up against.
Seconds remaining.
And they're going to take out the Nyx. Reincarnated are looking for an offlaner of their own. So Team Buriza will probably end up banning the offlaner that they do not want to give away to Reincarnated. Sand King is in the pool. You could ban out the Sand King and pick up the Centaur. But they're going to take away the Magnus, which I do like a lot more. I mean, Anti-Mage would benefit a lot from the Empower coming out from the Magnus. And Reincarnated may be showing the hand too soon by picking up the Anti-Mage as their 4th pick and not the 5th.
10 seconds remaining.
Team Buriza need an offlaner. Centaur is in the pool.
5 seconds.
You also got Sand King. What else?
Reserve time.
Centaur, Sand King. You could do offlane Puck. The Waning Rift is not too bad versus the Anti-Mage. but India doesn't play a lot of offlane puck.
Legion Commander.
They're going to go with the Legion Commander. I completely forgot about this hero. So they've got the lockdown necessary to deal with the anti-mage. Hopefully there is enough follow-up damage in the duel. And Legion, more than the duel itself, he's great at contesting the lane. He's going to be applying a lot of pressure early on the Warlock and the anti-mage. And if Reincarnated picks something like the Ogre, who's going to be sitting in the mid lane, making life difficult for the Templar Assassin, then you have to deal with the Legion Commander, who's possibly zoning out the Warlock and the anti-mage. But they're going to go with the Omni Knight here. So 2 defensive supports coming out from Reincarnated and a defensive offlaner in the form of the shield coming out from the Abaddon. So everything to keep that anti-mage healthy. There is a lack of lockdown though on the side of Reincarnated. There's not much that they have to hold anyone in place other than the drop coming out from the Warlock, which is a mini stun which just lasts for a fraction of a second. Viper with his slow though is the only thing that might be able to hold on to Buriza and hold them in place. Anyway, this is game 2 folks, between Reincarnated and Team Buriza. It is a best of 3 in the losers bracket at the Cobx Indian Esports Championship. If Reincarnated loses game, they're out of the tournament. And Team Buriza will advance in the losers bracket. My name is Vivek. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do hang around on stream. We have a giveaway happening as well. Would really like to get my hands on that giveaway. One day I'm just going to tune in hoping to win the giveaway. And as expected, we load into a pause. Gonna get my hotkeys set up. Okay, and since we have some time, I'm going to quickly run through the lineups here. We've got Juggernaut on the side of Team Buriza being played by 4200, who had a stellar game on the lifesteal early on in game 1. K or Clown K, as some of you might know him, is playing the Templar Assassin. Phoenix is being played by Unimax, Dream Protector in the hands of Venom, and the Captain Helm GA will be playing the Legion Commander. On the other side of the river, on Reincarnated, we've got Fearless playing the Abaddon. That leaves us with What on the Viper, Detergent playing the Warlock, and mid only on that 4th position Omni Knight. That leaves us with Heldrak playing the Anti-Mage. Very quickly folks, all of you in chat, I would love to hear your predictions for this game. I mean, my bet is on Team Buriza here, and it's not because they won game 1, it's just because I think they have the better draft. Or draft coming out from Team Reincarnated. The Viper, fine, he's a counter to the Templar Assassin. But do you really need Omni Knight and Warlock? Are these your best supports? And 4th pick Anti-Mage, which allowed Team Buriza to counter with a Legion Commander pickup? Not in favor of the dire draft here. For Team Reincarnated to really win this game, a couple of things need to happen. Viper needs to dominate the Templar Assassin really bad in the mid lane. Legion Commander shouldn't get active early on, shouldn't pressure the Anti-Mage too much. Anti-Mage needs to get something like a 20-minute Battle Fury, Manta style, all of that, all those items really early on. And yeah, Abaddon needs to get the farm that he needs in the offlane. So the only way Team Reincarnated win this game is if everybody on the side of the Radiant fails their lanes horribly. And maybe even then that's not going to be enough. Eldrak running into the side shop, wanting to complete the poor man's shield. Venom trading hits, overwhelming hordes. This is an absolutely hard time for Detergent. And Venom uses him to clean the floor there. This mid lane though, I mean, this in theory should be the only lane that ends up working for the Dire. Viper versus TA, this should be a matchup that the Viper wins. Omni Knight and Abaddon running a dual offlane. This does make the anti-mage rather vulnerable to the early aggression coming out from the Legion and the Venomancer. But yeah, Omni Knight recognizes he's TP to the top lane, so they've got a lot of heal. But heal doesn't translate into CS immediately because the anti-mage is sitting at 1 CS right now, while the Juggernaut's got 2 and 4 denies as well. Top lane, Omni Knight dropping low, Helm GL looking for the kill, Helldrag dropping low as well. No mana on the Omni Knight just yet for another overwhelming odds, but the odds are already in his favor in this lane. And where's the Warlock gone? Okay, so Warlock's ditched the top lane. I think it's actually one of those games where Linkins wouldn't be too bad later on the anti-mage. But anti-mage needs to get off to an explosive start if Team Reincarnated want to win this game. He needs to pick up the Battle Fury, Manta style, all by the 15 to 20 minute mark at the least. Right now he's sitting at 4 CS while Juggernaut is at 11. Even with 2 defensive supports on his side, he's not having a fun time in this lane. Mid lane even, I mean, I said this is a matchup the Vipers should be winning, but TA is getting a CS. TA is sitting at 14 while the Vipers sitting at 9. It's okay, I mean, just the mechanically better mid laner here. Sunray doing its work on Detergent. He's not got the Shadow Word, will end up falling. It's another kill for the Train Protector, who's been rotating early and effectively for his team. Eldrak still not getting the CS he was expecting. Well, it looks like Reincarnation aren't winning the laning phase. I mean, the net worth advantage is in favor of the Radiant. The top 3 heroes are from the Radiant as well. I guess if you're Reincarnated, I mean, I want to say they wait for this item and then they make a play. But there is no item for them that's going to make the difference. I guess they start looking for pick-offs actually once Viper hits his level 6. Maybe kill the Legion Commander early on, keep his Blink Dagger on hold. Would really like to see Viper move to this top lane and try and bring down the Legion Commander. I'm also wondering if Warlock was really the best pick. I mean, there were two defensive supports. I would much rather see something like an Earth Spirit. The lockdown, the silence from the geomagnetic grip would be a whole lot more useful than one momentary stun in Fatal Bonds, because I haven't got any great follow-up to the Fatal Bonds or the Golem. And now Fearless out of position. Has he got the Shadow Word? No mana. It will be an easy kill for 4-0. Mid lane, Viper lagging in terms of net worth as well. It's not like this hero does a whole lot with farm. I mean, sure, the Viper is one hard creature to bring down, especially with all the heal coming out. And I think Team Buriza needs to respect that. I mean, with the shield, the purification, it's not that easy to bring down the Viper, but once Legion completes his Blink Dagger, he will be looking for the pick-offs. And that's his peak timing. I mean, Reincarnated need to get all the farm they can before Legion gets his Blink and then just group up. Mid lane, it looks like he's trying to bring down the Phoenix. Will succeed. The Viper Strike doing the trick there. Reincarnated, they get on the scoreboard. I mean, the only hope for Reincarnated is drag this game as late as possible, wait for the anti-mage to get really farmed, and maybe, just maybe, then you have a fighting chance in this game. Where's the TA gone? Okay, she's jungling, giving some EXP to the Phoenix in the mid lane. Nice thing to do. Shrine being triggered by the Radiant. I guess Buriza just wait for the Blink Dagger on the Legion and then it's go time. But it looks like it's go time already. They pop the smoke, the duel should be available. He runs in and the anti-mage blinks out of there. Mid only. He's being slowed by the Temple Assassin. Have they got enough to bring him down though? He's got the purification, heals himself up. This could be a rotation coming out from the Viper. And K backs off respectfully. Mid lane, what? Taking a lot of damage from the Sunray. Will be forced to back off. Just a little bit of poking and prodding coming out from both teams. Venom, the duel is there on the Omni Knight and all Anti-Mage can do is sit and watch as his teammate dies. Helm GA 9 minutes in, his first duel victory. And he's just 600 gold away from his Blink Dagger. Venom goes in with a bash, takes the purification damage, not too bothered by it. What's he building into on the Dream Protector? Okay, Tranquil. What do you build this game if you're a Viper? I mean, Dragonlance is a good start. The stats aren't too bad. What else? I don't know. I mean, Sanjay Yasha is not too bad with all the recent buffs to it. Okay, hanging around the mid lane, starts out with the melt hit, uses the side trap, the Sunray is there. It's more than enough. That's an easy pick off on the Viper. And with no sentry in the mid lane, they're transitioning this pick off into an early tier 1 if possible. Is that a new tower design? Yeah, looks like it. I haven't seen this one before. Gosh, I am so out of touch with cosmetics and all of that. I guess this is a battle pass thing. Mid lane, side trap, Sunray. This could be round 2. Starts out with a melded, another side trap, but the Shadow Word is there. Keeps Viper alive, but she is taking a lot of damage over time. LMGA has completed the Blink Dagger, buys the smoke as well, will be looking to unveil his blink in style. AM, that Battle Fury, it's not going to be coming before 15 minutes. Okay, has picked up the Blink Dagger, so the Radiant, they have the mobility to get the ganks off early on. And they are pulling ahead in terms of net worth. Nice D-Ward coming up from Venom. He's kept the vision game strong for his team. Abaddon, what's he building into? Looks like he's going for the Midas, not too far away from it. But very soon his team, and he included, is going to be forced to fight. And I'm not sure what the Midas is going to offer then. Top lane, prepping for a duel here on the anti-mage, but with the purification, is it going to be enough? The duel is there instead on the Omni Knight, and his team could just sit and watch. The Shadow Word is there, but it's not going to be enough. It's a second duel victory for the Legion Commander. And now Viper pops the smoke by himself and is rotating to the top lane. The Radiant board will not scut up the rotation coming up from the Viper. Venom is hanging around the tier 1 itself. What? The smoke does pop. I think the Phoenix should see him. Turns around with the Fire Spirits. The Viper Strike is there. Unimax has got the egg if he wants to. Will pop it now. No drop on the Warlock. There is an overgrowth. Holds back the Abaddon and the Warlock as well. Sunray, Unimax diving deep. Will he be able to get the kill? He will. It is the Phoenix scoring a double kill there. Eldrac on the anti-mage. Jumps in. Gets the kill but will pay with his life. K brings him down rather quickly. LGA, he's got no mana, he's pushing his luck. Abaddon drops the shield will break. Mid only turns around with a repel on the Abaddon. And they'll take the 2 kills that they get on the coast. Make it 3, 1 on the Warlock as well. And they might just look for a tower. The Dire in no fighting shape right now. At least they had an Earthshaker, bought them some team fight earlier on. Now all they've got is a drop coming up from the Warlock. Well, all of this is space for the Juggernaut to farm away peacefully in his safe lane and even take down the tower. He's building into the Manta style. While, oops, I missed that. There was a kill on the anti-mage. I said 15-minute Battle Fury. It looks like it's going to be a 30-minute one, if nothing else now. Team Buriza winning the lanes, taking the momentum from there and steamrolling over Team Reincarnated here. Network graph, just for you folks, it's a 10,000 lead, 15 minutes in. And I love what the Radiant are doing here. They have the advantage of just grouping up and pushing. Actually, they're grouping up and getting kills. Helm GA, that's his 4th duel victory. 15 minutes into the game. Mid lane. Okay, they aren't diving greedily. So there is a good amount of discipline coming out from Team Buriza here. What do you do as Team Reincarnated? Wait for the drop, the golem to come online and maybe then take a team fight? Or maybe try and take Rosh itself before the Radiant pick it up themselves. I guess that wouldn't be too bad. Try and get Roshan before the Radiant. Has anyone picked up a Tomb of Experience yet? Okay, Warlock does have level 6. I guess he's smoking contest Roshan. Because otherwise it's just going to be a repeat of game 1 here for Team Reincarnated. Anti-Mage confidently takes a plus 20 damage over plus 150 health. Okay, so the Radiant have Roshan. And it's just going to be an action replay of game 1 for all purposes here. They're waiting for the Desolator on K, who's almost done with it. Yeah, should have it in a bit. And GA, what does he build into? Looks like he's queued up the Armlet. Would have liked the Silver Edge maybe to deal with corrosive skin. But the Armlet is fine. Venom scouting out the Dire, getting whatever little farm they are able to on their map. It's now Abaddon who's dropping shields on the anti-mage to help him farm. The Midas pickup on the Abaddon can be questioned here. Knowing that Team Buriza are a lineup that likes to take objectives early on, you'd much rather have an item that helps your team fight than a Midas that doesn't do much for your team. Solo pickoff coming out from 420 on the anti-mage. Not sure how that happened. Looks like there's going to be more. Detergent out of position. Dueled up. The Guardian Angel should be able to keep him alive. Purification as well. The Blade Fury not enough. Fearless pops the border time. The drop is there. It's on to 3, but there's an egg coming out from the Phoenix. That's going to stun up all 3 members of the Dire. It looks like Abaddon will be the first to fall. MGA giving chase. It's actually the Urn from Unimax that takes him down. Elsewhere, Warlock ends up falling. And Team Buriza completely steamrolling over their opponents. Last outer tower for the Dire. Going down with no contest. I really like the Viper pickup coming out from the Dire, but a 4th pick anti-mage, and the question is why? Why pick anti-mage when you got... why pick anti-mage so early on when he can be countered? And the Radiant did that perfectly. They picked up the Legion Commander, they challenged him in lane, and if anti-mage doesn't have a good laning phase, he's not worth much really. I mean, he can't catch up in terms of farm, he can't participate in team fights without farm, and they're just... And that's showing in this game. I mean, anti-mage is coming to team fights, he ends up dying. Even if he gets his Battle Fury now, it's too late. K has the Aegis as well. He's low on mana, but he could just blink in and right click away on the Dire. Fearless still searching for his Vlads. K pops the refraction, goes up. 420 with the Blade Fury as well. The Dire have no drop. Helm GA goes in with the duel. It's on the Omni Knight. K is there as well, and with the Sunray they'll bring him down. Fearless runs in the middle of all Radiant heroes, but there's an egg that's been popped and Fearless is trying to bring it down. K keeping him busy. Will the egg hatch? No, it won't. Fearless scores a kill. 1 kill at least for the Dire on the Phoenix, but Fearless will pay with his own life and his team will end up losing. Rax here in all likeliness. Melee Barracks being brought down rather easily. What on the Viper? What can he do in all honesty? I mean, he can just stand and watch with the Dragon Lance. He's using the poison attack, but it doesn't do too much. K with the Aegis. confident as always, moves to the mid lane. And there should be a tier 3 going down. I mean, the Dire, they're fighting, they're trying their best. The Viper Strike is there on the Temporal Assassin, but the Living Armor keeps it alive. And here comes the Treant Protector with a lead seed. And somewhere in the middle of all that, Unimax scores a solo kill on the Anti-Mage. That is just disheartening. I mean, disheartening, that's too nice a word. That's just tilting, actually. Anti-Mage, I mean, he was looking for that Battle Fury, but it's not going to be coming online anytime soon. The Radiant, they know they are at an advantage. They probably just group up for the Shrine, get the next round of items, and go for round 2. Venom. It's got a blink and a gem. Making sure that the Dire have no vision to work with. But look at this. They see a Treant Protector all by himself and they do not have enough to bring him down. I mean, this is the kind of play Reincarnated should be hoping to punish. Carry detection, get the Treant Protector when you see him isolated. But he's no more isolated. I hear to press the attack. He's looking at the mid lane. The Legion Commander just drops the overwhelming odds. Duels the Viper. Where is the Guardian Angel? There it is there in time. A drop comes out and HelmGA might just end up falling. It's KU scores a kill on the Viper. Unimax, the egg does hatch. Anti-Mage drops in aggressively with the Mana Void. Doesn't get the kill. Drops low. Stays alive with the Purification. But mid only has been brought down. K with the double kill. He's looking for more. Wants the Anti-Mage. One hit. Is that going to be enough though? Looks like it won't. 4 heroes have fallen from the Dire. 2 of them have buyback. And K still gets the kill on the Anti-Mage. Not sure what happened there. Good game. Well played is the call. Team Buriza are your victors. And unfortunately, Reincarnated Esports, the road ends for them here at the Cobx Indian Esports Championship. My name is Vivek. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back with some more action tomorrow. Same time, same place. Stay around, folks.
Although it feels like heaven, I can't wait forever. Old habits are hard to break. I'm losing faith. Maybe we're better off this way, but I'm still
Release your arms and just stay tight. We have to